Hey folks, welcome back, another Master video, and to end these off, right, for this update, let's go over the utility tier list, which again, like I mentioned before in the first, the other two, right, instead of just doing a tech, support, striker tier list, decided to go with an approach where we base these lists, right, off of their actual uses and not what the game says they are, right? Because the game labels Marnie as a tech, however, Marnie is obviously a damage dealer, right? And so on and so forth, right? So, yeah, again, shout outs to the people who helped create this one, right? Again, Runner, Ropal, Joe, NCS, and Don's son, right? So, yeah, again, as always, stuff like this, completely subjective. No one is going to agree with this 100%. I don't agree with this 100%, right? So let's get into this. So for utilities, it's just mainly units that are primarily used for, and this is again how we judge these, right? In terms of where we fit units into certain tier lists and not into others. It's what their primary use is, right? Because some units over here you could do some damage, right? I mean, Alakazam, Luxray, they could do some damage, but that's not their primary focus, right? Usually you don't primarily use them for dual, right, or hybrid plus utility, right? You're mainly using them for utility, right? Same thing with stuff like Creamy or or Steelix, right? Or Xerneas, which again you can use them also to damage, but you're primarily using them to support, right? So anyways, let's get into this. So as usual, let's just throw in one for each tier, starting from the top, which, speaking of Xerneas, very, very much in the top, right? Fantastic tank. Regens are really, really nice. Can cure status. Gives your team max speed, max special defense, and max special attack, right? Which is usually better than units that just give you up to +4. This gives you up to +6, which is again fantastic. So yeah, Xerneas is very, very good, right? Moving on. Next here, the closest top, probably a bit of Meganium. Obviously you have Sun on Sync, which is really, really good. Max crit, which is nice. Although unfortunately +2 on the speed speed attack special attack per use, right? Caps up max 4. Unless you could get the MP refresh on that, right? Although there's just so many other like great nodes that you want to use on Meganium generally, right? Light screen is good. It can tank, but it's not really great at it, unfortunately, right? And a bit slow on the slower side, but again, it does give your team speed, so it kind of balances that out, right? Again, overall, fantastic unit. Moving on, next tier, the amazing tier, would probably put in something like a like an Eevee, right? Eevee could put in there. Solid tank, 1 gauge spam is nice. The sync is good, however, it's just nowadays, the meta, there's just so many units you want to sync with instead, right? It's a good sync if you have her 6-star EX, right? But again, there's also a lot of other units that have a really good sync if they're 6-star EX as well. She just has like too much competition, right? Is the only thing, and she, as a support, doesn't really do any supporting outside of syncing, right? If you don't sync, you're basically not doing any buffs. You do have heals though, which is cool. Moving on, I got Nose Pass. Not Nose Pass. We're going by the order of tiers. Whoops. I was going to the next one. But next here, still very good. I'm gonna throw in a Deadly Bird, right? Deadly Bird, fantastic in Hail, right? Fantastic unit in Hail. But outside of Hail, you still gives your team some solid buffs all around. Got attack buffs as well, right? Could take a few hits again. By no means a fantastic tank or whatever, but can survive. Moving on to the I guess average tier, probably superior, right? Solid tank, gives your whole team special attack buffs, gives your team move gauge, but again, usually giving your team move gauge is not as good as giving your team speed, 9 times out of 10, but it's still nice. Right? You could potentially buff your or debuff your opponent's special defense, although again, not extremely reliable, but you do have the chance, right? So you got that. Moving on to the next tier. Clock it but replaceable. Something like a let's go representative. Did you guys see the where's the there's the bird. All right, Pelipper, right? Rain is nice. It's just that May is better, right? Tech Flash is probably better as well. As Flinch, which is cool, I guess. The trainer move's not bad. The speed, all that stuff. It's nice, but again, it's just there's something better. Next here, mostly outclassed. Loon Tone probably, right? Loon Tone gives you attack, special attack buffs, special defense buffs, right? Could take a few hits. 1 gauge spam that could confuse the opponent, maybe. It's nice. It's just that, you know, Premarina is just Lunatone, but better, right? But much better. So, there's that. And then the last here, something like probably an Arcanine. Arcanine is probably the least useful support in the game at the moment, I'd say. Right? Gives you speed, block statuses. That's about it, right? Like, even probably Marlin's even better, maybe. I don't know. I guess, Marlin's not that great. I don't know. Between these two. Both not very, very fantastic, but anyways. But yeah, Marlin definitely in this tier as well. Let's see who else. Bronzong probably. There are some gimmicky uses with Bronzong, but there's also some really, really great accuracy buffers in the game, so you really don't really need Bronzong for the most part, and much better tanks in the game as well. Let's see, what else? I guess Gramble. There's better charm users. Creamy, whatever, right? What else? To get Amaru, there's better paraflinchers. Obviously, Volkner, much better paraflincher. Hariyama. Break's not extremely useful. Since it only breaks, screens and all that stuff. Has potion, which is cool, but there's much better potion users out there. What else? Auroras, not a good flincher. I mean, it's okay, but there's just better flinchers, right? Electrode, other than absolute destroying tornadoes, which again does make it good, right? It's still not very great. It's fast, I guess. Good debuff special attack, but again, debuffing, attack special attack, just not as good as debuffing defenses overall, right? But yeah, Electrode not that great. And I see a lot of people making this argument when when they talk about unit stats like not very good. They say, oh, but this unit could beat 1.5k master mode, or this unit could destroy this legendary arena. There's a lot of units that could do that. It doesn't make them good, right? I mean, Sviper could probably take out like any legendary arena of the game, or not any master mode stage of the game. Doesn't make a top tier, right? Moving on. Cryogonal. Haze is useful sometimes, maybe. Alright. Again, extremely niche use. What else? Lapras is just not great. Freeze is just kind of whatever. I mean, Freeze is just overall not that great in this game, so oh well. Let's see. Anyone else down here? Anyone else down this bad? Oh, I guess Milk Tank. Paraflinch, but not very great overall. I think that's about it. Anyone else this bad? Don't think so. All right, moving on next here, I guess. Lunatone got let's see, a Weezing, I guess. Decent tank, can AoE poison your whole team, or not your team, the opponent's team. It's not badly poisoned though, so that kind of sucks. But you can still poison, I guess. Nanu, you know what? Maybe Nanu could go higher. Yeah, I think Nanu could go higher. Just because, again, defensive debuffs are just, really great in this game, right? And he gives you -2 every time you use it. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a grid, so it's not like anything, can't be anything crazier, but still really good overall, right? Also, the speed is nice to have as well, right? What else? You got Ariados, good debuffer, but again, you're debuffing what? Attack, special attack, and speed, which not the best things to debuff. But again, can be useful, right? But also the precondition is they also have to poison the opponent team. So unless you're using Wheezing, right, 100% poison, it sometimes takes a while to even start setting up, your debuffs, which is not fun. So again, very RNG dependent. Victory Bell is just better units that could sleep. And it's just not that great of a sleeper, I guess. I mean, obviously with most of the other Troublemaker sleepers, you could 100% sleep, which is really, really good. But you're not really fast or whatever, right? Like a Gengar, you're not as fast as Gengar, or don't have the other capabilities that like a Serena has, or a Poplio has, right? Stuff like that. What else? Salamence gives you defense buffs, which are cool, but defense buffs are right. Moving on, we got Blissey, I guess. Can't really take a physical hit, but outside that, it does give you some solid buffs, right? Special attack and all, and some heals here and there, which is okay-ish, right? Moving on, I think we can move on, right? I don't think I'm missing anyone. Oh yeah, Lipard. Lipard just doesn't really do anything. You could use a tank. There's better tanks, right? You could use it to take opponents' debuffs. Quirrell can also do that. Well, it can't take them, but make them disappear, right? Which is mainly what you're trying to do. A lot of people try to say, oh, but he does so much damage. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't do that much damage. This guy has like 100-something attack, right? If I remember correctly. Or like low 200s or something. It's something like insanely low. 140 special attack, right? He does have more physical attack, but the physical attack is a 2-gauge move, 48 base power move in comparison to Dark Pulse, 144. So yeah, no, he doesn't do that. Doesn't do that great damage. Moving on. Let's see. Alright, we're in the next here. So Viper is nice, right? Again, it's usually free 1.5k stage with the badly poison plus wrap. Fantastic. Could take some hits. Could do some damage sludge bomb, but again, nothing too crazy on that front, right? Next we got, I guess, Meowstic. Very, very fast. Gives your team some speed, which is nice. 100% paralyze your opponent. Can confuse maybe sometimes. Yeah, it's okay. Moving on, I got Nose Pass. Nose Pass gives you special attack and speed buffs, which are fantastic, right? Defense buffs as well. Wide Guard. Also, again, really, really good. Can also take a few hits here and there, right? Next we got Medicham. Gives you crit buffs, which are fantastic. Attack buffs. You could Drain Punch, but you probably don't want to. Rock Smash can maybe debuff your opponent's defenses sometimes. I think Medicham's slow or Medicham. I think around slightly below average speed. Can't really take too many hits though, but Medicham's okay. Let's see what else we got. Oh, Glalie. Gradual heals are cool, right? Regen, right? It's nice. Get some special attack buffs, damage your direction. But it's only like +2 special attack, right? Or something like that. Not too great over there. Next, I'm gonna move on next here. We got probably, actually, you know what? I'm looking at it. I kind of want to downgrade Delbert, and I think this tier would be stuff like maybe like an Onyx. Yeah, I think Delbert would be a bit more in line with Superior, although I do think Delbert's better than Superior. But yeah, we could put Onyx in there instead. Onyx gives you some good potions. Got Defense Crush, right, with a 1-gauge spammable move. You can also debuff opponent's speed, debuff their attack as well. Good physical tank, all that stuff. Maybe do some damage Haymaker. Again, nothing too crazy on that front though. But yeah, in this tier, probably like Palossand. Palossand gives your team physical attack buffs, right? It can flinch the opponent. Cannot take a hit, however. Right, not a good tank at all. has a chance to give you crit. No, not very high chance, right? And most importantly, obviously, Sandstorm, right? Next we got Torchic. Fantastic buffer, right? Unfortunately, cannot get you max crit, but can give you +2 crit, right? +2 crit while you're also buffing your whole team's special attack, right? By 2 every use. And then you got X attack as well for your team, and you also got Flame Charge, so you could help with your team's speed, right? So you're not dragging your whole team down speed wise that much, right? Flamethrower could also burn sometimes, I guess, if you want that. Next got Vileplume. Vileplume, very, very good. Energy Ball has quite a few honor rolls. Debuff the opponent's special defense. Has a lot of move gauge refreshes on that as well. Right? You could do some stuff in Sun. Solid Tank. Paralysis obviously has a chance to confuse as well. Has a chance to debuff the opponent's special attack if you want. Although you don't want to do that because it's kind of a waste of your energy usually. But yeah, some good stuff overall from Vileplume. Next, let's move on next here, I guess. Speaking of Onyx, Steelix. Steelix, I do think it's just not as widely used, I guess, right? Obviously, really, really great defensive stat, but outside of that, like even in a Sandstorm team, he's not even like optimal, right? In a Sandstorm team, give your team some attack, right? With a Berserk squad or something, right? Clang, prevent crits for your whole team, although it does go away relatively quickly, unfortunately. It is very, very slow though, however, which is also a detriment. X defense all for your team, which is cool. But yeah. Moving on, got Heliolisk. Heliolisk debuffs opponent's speed, accuracy, right? As a bunch of uses in different weather teams. You can do that as well, right? Parabolic Charge, which is nice to heal yourself. Maybe run like as a tank in like Electro Train team, right? Just as a keep on that tank keeps on healing. Has an okay sync nuke, I guess, but again, you're mostly not using for damage, mostly using for the debuff stuff, right? Which again, not debuffing anything crazy, but is relatively nice. Next, Lycanrock defense debuffs, which is again very, very good. Plus it's AoE, although it's only -1 per use, right? And I guess I would prefer like Nanu's debuff over Lycanrock, just because like single target -2 over AoE -1. Yeah, I do prefer that, but Lycanrock is much better than Nanu, because also you have the Cellarrock flinches, which are nice, right? Your sync could break the opponent's field effect stuff, right? All that stuff, which is cool. And you're very, very fast, right? This thing is very, very, very fast. I think I also have Rock Doom to debuff speed as well, which no one ever uses. Or rarely uses. Alright, next we got Masquerain. Masquerain, really, really great. Special defensive tank, could buff the opponent's specialty, or special attack, right? Can trap the opponent. Has heals, first aid, all that stuff. Again, just great tank overall, right? Great unit overall. Next, we got Premarina. It's the premium version of Lunatone. Does exactly the same things as Lunatone, except use 3 more gauges. But it's it happens in 1 turn instead of 2 turns, so that's the trade-off, right? Costs you 3 gauges, or 3 or 4 gauges, like something like that. But it is 1 turn buff instead of 2 turns buffs. Comparison to Lunatone, also same thing as Lunatone, buffs your special defense, but you do have MP refresh on that, so you could potentially get that +6, and also have like +1 speed on your train move in comparison to Lunatone, I guess. But most importantly, obviously, you have the Sing. Again, not 100% Sing, unfortunately, even with Troublemaker. Only a 90% chance to land a Sing. But that's still nice. I mean, 90% chance to land a Sing. Better than nothing, right? Better than nothing. Obviously, again, sleep is very, very powerful in this game. You could also buff some other stuff with your Sparkling Area, although I do have to say it's not really recommended. It's just much better. Like, spamming Sing is just so much more powerful, right? Unless you really, really, really need those buffs. But even then, if you really, really need those buffs, you should just run a support that buffs those instead, right? Because, I mean, it's a 3-gauge move, man. It's a 3-gauge move as support. So, yeah. Next, move on next, I guess, here. The Eevee tier. We could throw in something like a Torterra, right? Much more universal than Steelix for one, right? Do some chip damage here and there. Has the full restore, right? Which is cool. When it gets hit, debuffs your opponent's attack, which is, again, okay, right? Just a great tank overall, right? And again, unlike Steelix, is not, won't get exposed as easily, special defensively, right? So there's that. Moving on, Rubambi, Dire Hit All Plus. Again, one of the most powerful moves in the game, right? Gives your team evasion, which is nice. Can heal off leech life, which is cool, right? Move gauges, this and that. Gradual heals off of sync, which is cool. But yeah, speaking of crit buffs, got these two as well, right? Or Dire Hit All Plus, all whatever it's called. But yeah, both these two could buff or max out your team's crit, right? Dusknoir's kind of slow, unfortunately. Gives you attack. Obscune also gives you attack, but at the cost of using Obstruct, which is not really good. I mean, it blocks a move, but it screws up your sync move countdown turns, which is not nice. But outside of that, solid. Again, all three are max crit buffers, right? Which on its own merits would be, probably this good. Next, probably got Starmie. I don't know. Maybe Starmie could move down one. Not down two, though. I'll keep it on here for now, I guess. The evasion buffs are nice. Special defense buffs are cool. Gradual heals help, right? Definitely. Could take a few hits itself, right? Could get rid of... you know what? Yeah, I think it should still be fine here. Could get rid of status conditions as well, which is very, very good. Moving on, I got regular Lily. Again, crit buffs. Oh, haha! I see who we're missing. Down here, Charon, which doesn't really do much. Gives gradual heals, a few move gauges, full heal. That's about it. And then you got Abomasnow, which I guess it's a hail setter, but not really great overall. Damn, I've been missing quite a few here and there. All right. Anyways, let's finish fairy first. Heal on sync, obviously again, +6 attack and special attack. You do have guaranteed crits, which is nice for like a sync nuker, I guess. But obviously, overall, it's much better just to have a unit that could max out your crit. It is pretty slow though, right? Can debuff, can do some damage, maybe, right? Could take a few hits, maybe. But yeah, all right. For the people I forgot to put up here, Rapidash, you probably put in here, right? As Sun, can trap. Yeah, it's pretty fast, right? But yeah, that's about it. That's about it. Comfy as well. Comfy probably here, right? It's just a lot of what it does, Xerneas could do, right? It does have burst heals, which is really, really nice on top of that, and 6 REX, obviously. But yeah, Draining Kiss, great tank overall, right? Really great at curing status conditions, probably best in the game for that. For stage that status you multiple times, not the one and dones. All right, I think that's everyone I missed, but yeah. Anyways, Rotom, I guess. Again, Rotom's been falling off a bit. Single move counter is nice. The special attack buffs is nice. It's just that the crit buffs is just really not good, right? The crit buffs are really bad. First of all, it only crit buffs one person, and it's only +1 crit with only 1 MP, unless you use it after your sync, which you don't want to buff your, you don't want to buff your crit after you sync, right? Usually you want to get your crit up before you sync. So it does limit a lot of team comp usages with Rotom, which is unfortunate. But again, for what it does, it's still pretty nice. Moving on next here, All Creamy. Again, fantastic unit overall. Charmed to debuff attack. Fake Tears, which is the main one here, with Ripple Effect that could potentially turn into an AoE special debuff, or special defense debuff too. Which is, again, very, very good. Some chip damage here and there. Gives your team, or unit on your team. Gradual heals, attack +2, special attack +2, just a really, really, really powerful unit overall, right? Next we got, let's see, Luxury, I guess. Sets up electric terrain. Paraflinch, which is very, very good. Luxury just works so well with a lot of these, electric type units in the game, right? Because a lot of them do have paralysis synergy, and obviously, Luxury helps that on top of giving you electric terrain, right? Moving on. Swana's still fantastic. Still fantastic unit, right? I mean, it's close to top tier. However, it just doesn't offer you that much offensively like a lot of the other units in the top tier does, which in this hyper offensive meta, right, is not as good. Obviously, again, potions fantastic, great tank, defense for your team fantastic, speed really, really good, 1 gauge spammable with a move gauge refresh 9, really, really good, right? I guess you could buff your team with fanfare, but like it's only +2. But yeah, again, great unit overall, but it's not exactly, stuff at the top. Which, speaking of, Togepi, probably the weakest one out of all these, but still really, really good. It gives your team accuracy buffs, defensive buffs, right? Again, max crit is the main thing here. 1 gauge spammable, and then the gradual offensive buffs, right? The thing is just like the offensive buffs are just kind of slow for Togepi, right? Just because like you have to use your train moves first before you start attacking, and usually that's like after you sync, so it can't really max out any of your units. Attack, special attack after you sync, and even then, it's only what I think 50% chance or 60% chance to activate, and when it does activate, you only have a 2/3 chance of getting what you want, right? So it is slightly suspect there, but again, overall nice unit. I mean, again, like I mentioned before, there are like some units that I don't really agree with on the rankings. Togepi would be one of them. But the overall verdict is Togepi would be up here. Moving on, Hilbert. Speed buffs really great. Attack buffs really good. Crit buffs fantastic. Right, you can also potentially flinch someone, defense crush, right? Not a great tank though, unfortunately, but can definitely take a few hits here and there, right? Moving on, Alakazam, obviously fantastic. Has heals, special attack, max buffs, right? Accuracy buffs, max crit buffs, speed buffs, physical shield, right? 2 move gauge refreshes on Psybeam, could do damage when you mega, right? Insanely fast speed. What else? Recuperation on sync if you want that as well, right? Just a lot of great things from Alakazam, obviously. And then we got Blastoise, which does Blastoise things, right? Probably the best support overall in the game. At least in my opinion, the best support overall in the game. Again, gives you defensive buffs, speed buffs, move gauge, acceleration, +1 crit, or +2 crit in total. Unfortunately, you can't get that last crit until you MP refresh, right? On your train move. If it can max like crit, it'd be like so much more busted, without relying on RNG. But yeah, got some teeny heals, right? 2 move gauge refreshes on Water Pulse. Got a lot of stuff in Rain, right? Could do some really good damage in Rain as well. Hydro Cannon stuff. Let's see what else. I don't know. I can't remember everything this guy does. This guy does so much things. Special defense buffs. Endurance for your whole team on sync. What else does this guy do? As you can see, this guy does a lot. Heals in Rain. The offensive buffs when it gets hit. Yeah, a lot of things. So anyways, there we go, folks. That's gonna be this one, I guess. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me guys think in the comments down below. Alright, like enjoy this video, subscribe to the channel for some more Pokemon Masters content. Again, like I mentioned before, not my list. It's a list that I worked out with, again, all the great folks that helped out with them, so shout out to them as well, again. And yeah, have fun, folks, arguing with other people in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one.